everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back to my channel. For today's tutorial, I am super excited to bring you guys a macrame fish. Creating a fish pattern is something I have been wanting to do for a really long time. I absolutely love all marine life, including fish, so I thought that this would be really fun for all of us to make together. For this project, you are just going to need 10 ropes of 4mm 3-ply rope measured approximately 10 feet long. Keep your rope near you because we will be adding one extra piece of rope that's about 12 inches, give or take. Other than that, you're just going to need something to hang your ropes to. I'm using a very small dowel rod, but you guys can use whatever you would like. Now that you know what we're going to need for this project, let's get right into it and get started. Our first step is to attach all 10 of our ropes to a dowel rod using a reverse lark's head knot. To make this knot, I'm going to fold my ropes in half, send it behind the dowel rod, fold it over so there's a loop right in front where I pull the 2 strings through that loop. And then you just pull it tight. Now using the 4 ropes directly in the center, I'm going to tie one square knot. To make a square knot, I take the side on the far right to cross over the 2 strings in the middle to form a loop. The side on the left then goes over that right string, behind the 2 in the middle, and through the loop. And I pull it tight. Then I'm going to take the left side to cross over the 2 ropes in the middle. The string on the right then goes over that left one, behind the 2 in the middle, and through the loop. And I pull it tight. Now I'm going to make a row of 2 alternating square knots. What this means is I take 2 new ropes and 2 ropes from the previous square knot and I tie another new square knot. I'm going to repeat these steps, this time making a row of 3 alternating square knots. Make a row of 4 alternating square knots. We're going to make a row of 5 square knots, and this time when we get to square knot number 4, we will be adding a special little bead into our fish. Once we get to number 4 of our square knots, we're going to go ahead and make the first half of that knot. I'm going to take my bead and slide it onto the 2 ropes in the middle. Then I will complete my square knot as normal. will come in and make another row of alternating square knots. Now what we're going to do is just take the 2 ropes on the far left and the 2 ropes on the far right, and we're just going to drape them out of our way for now. Then we're going to bring in another rope to tie a line of double half hitch knots straight across. So to do this, I just take that second rope and I'm going to tie every rope around this rope, which is called my leading rope. I'm going to bring my first working rope right up behind, take it over and around to go through the loop, and just pull that tight. Then I'm going to take that same rope to go in front, to curl around and go through the loop, and I just pull that tight. Now I move on to my next rope where it comes right behind to curl over and through the loop. Then I take it in front to curl around and through the loop, and I pull it tight. The next rope comes right up behind. You curl it over to go through the loop. Then it comes in front of that leading rope to curl around and go through the loop. And I'm just repeating this all the way across. To do is just take the end we added on and just tie a simple overhand knot, and I trim the end off. Doing it this method will cause a little bit to stick out, so if you don't like the way that looks, you can take the ends and just kind of tuck them in behind so that they stay hidden and it's more smooth. Now using groupings of 4, I'm going to create a row of 4 berry knots. So to make a berry knot, I'm going to make 3 square knots in a row. When you make your first square knot, leave a little bit of a gap up top. Take the 2 ropes here in the middle and send them up through the little gap right up top. Then I'm going to pull those all the way. Once they get up top and you start to pull it, your berry knot will form by rounding and forming a little ball. Then I'm just going to secure with a square knot. Repeat with the next 4 ropes. We'll be making a row of 3 alternating berry knots. So this means I'm going to leave off the 2 ropes on the end and take the next 4 ropes. So I'm using 2 ropes from this berry knot and 2 ropes from this berry knot. And I'm just repeating the same steps we did before. Repeating these same steps until you have 1 berry knot in a row. Now we're going to take those 2 ropes that were on the end and we're just going to twist them together to make it a little thicker and a fun texture. So all I'm doing is taking the 2 ropes and just twisting them together. The desired length, just tie it with a simple overhand knot to secure. Just like that. Then we're going to take all of our ropes and just gather them together. Then I'm just going to take one of the ropes on the right side and I'm going to tie kind of a half hitch knot around all the ropes. So I just loop around and come through the little loop, pull it tight. And I'm going to repeat that one more time, so I'm just going to take that rope, cross it over all the ropes, and go through the loop and pull it tight. And this is just going to keep my little bundle together. And I'm just going to twist that rope around a little bit so it's hidden in the back. Now it's time to start forming the tail of our fish. So what I'm going to do is take 2 ropes, one from the right side and one from the left, and I'm going to tie a square knot. So the right side crosses over all the ropes in the middle, that left one goes over the right rope, behind all the ropes in the middle, and through the loop. And I'm pulling that tight. Then I'm going to take the left side to cross over all the ropes in the middle, the right goes over that, behind all the strings in the middle, and through the loop, and I pull it tight. Now I'm going to take all these ropes and I'm going to separate it into 2 groups. So just count your ropes out to make them even groups. And you'll have 10 ropes in each group. Then we're going to take the grouping on the left and tie another square knot like we did up above. So I'm just going to take 2 ropes, one from the right side, one from the left, and tie a square knot. Repeat with the grouping on the right side. Now I'm going to take both these sections and again split them evenly in half and tie another square knot. You can keep making rows of square knots until your tail is the desired length. So I'm going to go in and do another row of alternating kind of square knots. So I'll have 3 here. one final row of square knots all the way across. Now my final step is to take my fringe and trim it to a pattern kind of like a fishtail. So I'm gonna angle it so it's like an upside down V. But you guys can trim your fringe any way you like. This is a great way to have creative freedom in your wall hanging. And I was just playing around with some of my scrap pieces to attach to one side of my fish as like a fin. This is optional, but I'm just taking pieces of rope that are about 6 inches long and attaching them to that outer rope with a reverse lark's head knot. Like that. So it's just a little fun touch to the fish that you can include or not include depending on your own personal style and preference. But I think it's just a fun little take on a macrame fish. So now let's see what it looks like all finished up. This is my finished product of my macrame fish. So I really like the way that this turned out. I love the use of the berry knots to add some texture to the fish. They kind of act as fish scales in my opinion. I also like having a designated little spot for an eyeball. Now if you don't want to use a bead, you could use a berry knot. I'm just afraid that with using berry knots down here, it might look a little out of place and not necessarily like an eye, but I would honestly have to see what it looks like. You could do a different color for a berry knot as the eye as well, so you have a few options. And of course the little added fringe here to act as the fish's fin is completely optional. I really am enjoying how it turned out, but again, totally a personal preference and based on your own style. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that you like the way it turned out as much as I do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.